And so what that's done, that's attracted now the remote worker, the digital nomad. It's attracted people who maybe don't like the weather in their country anymore, want to hang out here. And so the profile has changed. It used to be people would come for a 1 week vacation, all inclusive, or 2 week, and they would stay at the big resorts. And now people are buying real estate and they're coming here, staying in their property, and then renting it out the rest of the year, or staying in the property 6 months, even living here now. So it's changed. It's not.
We're here today with Luigi.
Hello.
And we're here on this beautiful rooftop called Terraza on Calle 38 in Playa del Carmen.
You guys can see that. Whoever's got a laptop, if you're seeing this on a laptop, you'll be able to see the beautiful blue ocean.
Luigi has a great perspective on real estate in Playa del Carmen because he's a Canadian. He's been here for 15 years. And we're going to be going over everything that somebody needs to know if they're considering buying real estate in Playa del Carmen. Luigi is the perfect man to talk to.
Thank you.
We're also going to be posting Luigi's contact info down below this video. So if you want to ask him a question, if you want to get in touch, feel free to reach out. He's a very friendly guy.
Please do.
So,
maybe too friendly sometimes. I can't even walk down the street without saying hi to everybody.
Yeah, they used to call you the mayor of Playa del Carmen.
Yeah,
right?
It was my nickname for a little while. I love people. What can I say? You know, if I see someone, I'm going to say hi to them. So it takes me a little while to get 1 or 2 blocks. My sister always makes fun of me because it takes me. I always leave the house to go to the gym, and she goes, "You still haven't gone to the gym?" I'm like, "No, I've ran into people on the way." So it is what it is.
So you're originally from Canada, right? Vancouver, Montreal.
That's correct. Yeah, I was born in Montreal. My parents are Italian, so I have an Italian background. I lived in Vancouver for a long time, and I think a lot of people in Canada can relate that it gets a little cold. The winters can get a little tough. The rain was a little hard in Vancouver. It was gray a lot. So, you know, I started coming down here, and then I just decided I'm going to stay. And it was, I felt like home. Yeah, so I stayed.
And in the past 15 years plus, I mean, the area has completely transformed.
Completely
Isn't that
different.
right?
It's completely different. In 2005 and 6, I arrived 2005. I left for a few years, but I came back. So there's a lot of jungle here right now. Where we are is on 38th Street, but 38th Street was just jungle. And there was one restaurant called La Cueva de Chango. And literally, the monkey cave, they called it because there were so many monkeys, jumping around. And we were really literally in the jungle. And in 2006 and 7 and 8, Fifth Avenue was growing 4 blocks a year. I mean, it's spectacular what's happened. A lot of new buildings, a lot of growth. When I moved here, there was 22,000 people. Now we're at 309,000, I do believe is the population of Playa del Carmen. So it's growing, and it's going to continue to grow. It's no longer just a tourist destination. It's actually become now a desired place for people to live half of the year or even all year round. So it's becoming a city.
And there are definitely certain remnants of that jungle vibe, as you can see with this backdrop behind us.
Yeah. There's actually a little hotel. There's a hotel in there. So there's little cabanas and hotel rooms, and you can see little palapas. That's why they kept the jungle vibe. It's nice.
Yeah, so in my case, I've been here for about 4.5 years.
Okay.
And
so
what I really loved about Playa del Carmen, in addition to the amenities, which are totally first world, super fast internet, beautiful restaurants, beautiful gym, everything you would expect at the same quality that you might expect back in the USA or back in Canada, was just the walkability of the city, especially around the Fifth Avenue area. Fifth Avenue is the main kind of downtown strip, and it's literally within 3 to 5 minutes to the beach.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Fifth Avenue is just a few. How many do you think? How many meters that way do you think?
It's about 30 meters that way, and then we've got the beach behind us. About 60 meters behind us, I'd say. You got the jungle, so beautiful weather year-round, highly walkable, fantastic amenities, great gyms. We actually met at the gym in Playa del Carmen.
I was working out. He was just hanging out. No, I'm just joking.
So the population has obviously increased dramatically in the past 15 years.
Yeah.
You mentioned from about 20,000 to over 300,000. And over those years, you also mentioned that the profile of the types of people coming down here has changed quite substantially. So what types of people do you find are buying property or moving to Playa del Carmen now at this point in time?
Yeah, so before Playa was just a tourist destination. So very few people actually lived here all year round. When I moved here, it took forever to get Wi-Fi, car insurance, all the regular amenities that you would get used to in a North American city like Vancouver, Los Angeles, New York. And so now you have everything. We have all the major chains. We have all the major amenities that you would want. And so what that's done, that's attracted now the remote worker, the digital nomad. It's attracted people who maybe don't like the weather in their country anymore, want to hang out here. And so the profile has changed. It used to be people would come for a 1 week vacation, all inclusive, or 2 week, and they would stay at the big resorts. And now people are buying real estate and they're coming here, staying in their property, and then renting it out the rest of the year, or staying in the property 6 months, even living here now. So it's changed. It's not just a vacationer anymore. So you'll run into everybody on the street. The majority of the people here are here for a longer period of time, not just a 1 week quick vacation. They actually, usually you run into them and they've been here before, or they keep coming back, or they spend 2 or 3 months of the year, or they're spending 6 months of the year. So really it's changed. It used to be a timeshare prominent. A lot of people would buy timeshares, but now people are buying the property full out. Yeah, and full ownership.
What is the price range for real estate within the Centro downtown area?
Well, it's tough. It depends. If it's a lot of the new developments are, we're getting close to the 3,800, 3,900, all the way up to even 5,000 a square meter. And then there's some of the resales, so some of the older buildings, some of the older condos that have come out onto the market, are a little bit cheaper. So, definitely the prices have gone up, and they're going to probably continue to go up steadily over the next few years. Playa's got a lot of growth. So we have Fifth Avenue that runs north-south. You can't go south because there's Playa Car, which is a golf residence, a private residence. There's phase 1 and 2. And so you can't go that way. You can only go north. And so if you follow Fifth Avenue north, that's where all the growth is going. And there's still quite a bit of land to develop. So it's growing, and I think the prices will continue to move up. They're not at a huge pace, not like we've seen in some of the other North American markets, like Vancouver had an incredible run over the last 20 years. It's amazing. Here it's a little slower in terms of growth, but rental revenue is good. So downtown Toronto, how much does a condo go for? A 1-bedroom condo.
About 600,000.
Okay, so here you can get a 2-bedroom for 200, 250,000, and they're spacious, and a lot of them have the rooftop amenities. So if you take a look here, we have rooftop amenities, we have ocean views. So that's what a lot of the buildings offer, gym, co-working space, and some of the new buildings to accommodate the remote worker and the people that need to have maybe a little office, somewhere they can do Zoom calls. And so what you get for your money is, and you're living in the Caribbean. It's spectacular. So rather than having a little shoebox in a downtown area like Vancouver or Toronto, you get a Caribbean, condo, dream condo with a rooftop with all these beautiful views. And so when we got up here, right before we started filming, there was a lady here suntanning. And so now this lady could be living here, she could be on vacation. But this is the thing, is that whether you're living here or not, you get to come up here and enjoy this. So if you are a remote worker, or if you work, during the day, you can take a 1 hour break, come upstairs, use the amenities, get a little bit of sun, sit by the pool, get a dip, go back down to your place, and then get back to work. So where can you do that in large cities? I mean, it's actually a wonderful lifestyle. You can even have a workout in the gyms, so without having to leave your building.
Year round too.
And year round.
Yeah.
I mean, it does get a little cooler in the winter, but what's cooler? When it gets down to like 20, 19 degrees
At nighttime.
No, Celsius, people start to get, you get the little jacket. People from Canada arrive and go, why are they wearing jackets? Well, we get climatized, but yeah, you can pretty much be outside all year round here, and that's what makes it a great lifestyle.
So we have the remote workers, obviously, who are taking advantage of that to live here. From the years 2020 to 2022, it was funny to even see, for example, somebody teaching elementary school, and they're sitting on a rooftop just like this, and maybe the camera's not turned towards the beach, maybe it's turned towards the back wall. But that was the types of things that you saw going on at that time.
Yeah.
And that has definitely continued to a very large extent. A lot of people are not content to just stay put in the winter, where they're basically just stuck in their routine, waiting for the summer essentially, or waiting for that next holiday or trip.
Yeah, that's
They decide to go on a permanent holiday, and that's what they can do here while still working, enjoying fast, high-speed internet. So that basically covers one of the main demographics that's investing and moving to Playa del Carmen. Are there any others that you've seen, either from your people you've helped with in real estate or people you've just met around town?
well, COVID was interesting. I think COVID changed a lot of people's perspective of their country, their government, politics, some of the policies, some of their restrictions and so on that happened during COVID. And so I think what happened is it's opened up the possibility of being able to work remotely. I mean, that really didn't exist before COVID. Pre-COVID, everybody was expected to go to the office. COVID changed everything. And so now what we're seeing is, and it doesn't matter what your political view is, whether like the left, right, who your government, it really doesn't matter. What's happened is a lot of people are not happy with what's happening in their country, economic instability, inflation, everything that's going on. And so they've flocked to Mexico for a plan B or a way out, or perhaps they're taking part of their portfolio, part of their investments out of their country and investing here in Mexico so that they're diversifying should anything, not recover in their country. And so that's what we're seeing. We're seeing people who are taking an investment approach to Mexico, not as in, oh, I just want to buy a second home as a lifestyle and be able to brag to my friends and enjoy. It's actually a strategic move now where people are taking some of their money out of the bank, which if you're following the news and you've seen what's happening with some of the banks in the United States, not the best situation. So people are taking money out of the bank, or they're taking money out of their portfolios or out of equity out of their homes, and they're coming here and they're investing here as a plan B, as a way to diversify and protect themselves. So that we're seeing a lot of. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm getting a lot of Canadians and a lot of Americans approaching us and asking, what can we do? How can we purchase? What is the process? What are the returns? And so on and so on. So that's what we're able to do for them.
I've noticed as well, there's been a lot of families coming down here.
A lot of families,
But one question a lot of people have is in regards to, let's say, schools for their kids, and just how it's going to be potentially spending a part of the year or even a large part of the year with your family in a country like Mexico.
There's schools. Yeah, there's lots of schools. So there's different types of schools. There's more like a jungle alternative schools, and there's the regular curriculums, and there's sports centers. It's sunny all year round, so you have a lot of activity. You can go out with your children a lot here. Whereas if you're living in a country, where Canada or some parts of the United States where it can get cold in the winter, you're limited to indoor activities, which a lot of times it means they're on electronics. And so kids here get to get out and get to be on their bikes, get to go to the beach, they can go to the jungle, they can go walk down Fifth Avenue, they can do outdoor sports.
Not just kids, grown-ups too.
Well, yes.
The social life.
I do miss, that's the thing, right? The social life is one thing, but also the sport. So, I miss being in Canada. I miss being being in the mountains in the winter. Instead of snowboarding, here we have kiteboarding, which is really popular. There's other coasts that have surfing. There's a lot of things you can do out here. So, and like you're mentioning, the social life too. You get in touch with the expats groups on Facebook and social media. There's always an event. There's always something happening. If you feel like you're not getting the lifestyle and then that social life, and you're not getting out and doing a lot of activities, you're not having that opportunity to coexist and meet different people. Here, every day there's some kind of event, some kind of a yoga or breath work or instrumental kind of gathering or dance or just a meetup or business meetup or networking opportunity, and they're always on a rooftop, right?
Yeah, very beautiful backdrop. You're
always on a rooftop.
Mid-January, you're wearing a t-shirt and shorts. It's just phenomenal.
It's pretty amazing, actually. It's a good lifestyle. So yeah, it's cool. The school system here can range. It can range from $200 a month to $500 a month. It depends. It depends on what school. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity here, and then there's a lot of language schools. So this is an international town. People speak many different languages. My neighbor speaks 6 languages. Mm-hmm. If you want to take languages, school, art, a lot of artisan, places to visit, a lot of art, a lot of healing too. So Playa has a lot to offer. I mean, the whole Mayan Riviera has a lot to offer. So
And I believe you speak at least 3 or 4 languages, right?
that's correct. Yeah, which helps. It really does. It helps
Mhm.
with business. It helps just meeting people. It really opens up the doors to having a spectacular lifestyle. People are coming here with the idea that they're going to spend some time here, but if they need to go back to their city, their country, they're very close. Cancun Airport received, I think in 2022, it was 22 million passengers. I mean, it's phenomenal. The amount of people coming to visit this side of town is incredible, and it's going to continue to grow. And we do have some expansion with the airport in Tulum, pardon me, which could be up and running at the end of 2024. Again, we don't promise anything. We don't know the exact dates. Could be delayed, could not be delayed, but we're seeing some progression there as well. We have the train that's connecting. You talked about this. We talked about it earlier, but from Cancun all the way to Merida and Chetumal, and all the way down to from Playa to Tulum, and I mean it's unbelievable what's happening, and there's a lot of growth. So people are staying all year round, but it's a mix. It's a mix. So it depends on. Some people aren't ready to leave their country 100%, so they still have some investments there, and they like the luxury of going back and forth with relatively cheap flights, and it's only a few hours away. And others are packing up and coming here full time. So it really is a mix.
So originally it was a beach jungle area. You got the beach, and the jungle pretty much goes all the way up to the beach. Basically, what happened in the past 30 years was Playa del Carmen. So the first city was Cancun, and then Playa del Carmen was another city that's been built, like you said.
Well, it was a fishing village, actually. It was Fifth Avenue was a few blocks. It was just a fishing village, and it's hard to imagine that it's grown so much in the last 20 years.
And they're building these cities out of the jungle. And so the next one down is Tulum. And how much has Tulum grown in the past 15 years? And how much is it projected to grow in the next 15 years?
Well, Tulum is actually just in the last few years. Tulum has become its own brand. It really is. It's got its own style, its own brand. There's a lot of Instagram influencers, people from Hollywood, people from all over the world that have traveled to Tulum, and it really is a spectacular place. And it's going through a boom right now. It's going through a lot of growth, a lot of new infrastructure going in, and it's hard to say, number wise, percentage wise, how fast it's going to grow. It's growing really quick right now. There's hundreds of projects in Tulum, and they're fixing roads. They're putting in new roads. They've got the airport going in eventually. Beaches are beautiful. It really is it's different from Playa. It's its own style, its own attitude. A lot of people go there for yoga. A lot of people go there for meditation and really connect with nature. There's a lot of greenery. They leave a lot of jungle with their developments there just because the lots are a lot bigger. So because the lots are a lot larger, they're able to leave a lot more trees within the development. So it's spectacular. I love Tulum. I go there often, and I know a lot of people that live there, and a lot of people are investing there. A lot of clients, I say more than 50% of our inquiries are for Tulum. More than 50%.
Anybody with an Instagram account, I'm sure, has at least seen or heard of Tulum in a substantial way.
Well, there's so many Instagrammable, it's a hard word, places, like the architecture is very different. It's kind of, the architects don't really have a limit. It's not, you're not limited to your creativity. And so they've got this blank canvas. They can go into Tulum and create these, great projects with wood and stone, structures that you would see in the Avatar movie, just interesting projects, really neat, and all immersed in jungle and beach. So it's a spectacular place.
And that's one emphasis they're really placing pretty heavily in Tulum is the idea of preserving the jungle, natural character of the city, while building developments that are also suitable to human life within it as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Low density. You're not going to get towers. 10 floor towers in Tulum. It's 4 floors maximum, and they're keeping the density low. And you have to leave a certain percentage of greenery when you're a developer on your lot. So depending on the size of your lot, could be between 30 to 45% of your lot has to be kept green. So it really is beautiful. It's a different style for sure. Tulum tends to have more of the natural mindset. In other words, people who don't care about having a car, they like walking around, they like having their bikes. They don't, they tend to be bare feet a lot and connecting with grounding and connecting with the jungle. They tend to have a lot of mindset of health and wellness. So, that's a big thing in Tulum. And Playa is a mix of everything. I mean, you can get that in Playa as well, but then you also have a lot of city type people that enjoy the amenities and enjoy the the beach clubs where they're getting served, during the day, and there's a lot of that as well. So, and here you have one of the things too is the amount of wealth that is being created. When I moved here, it was very rare to see a Mercedes, for example,
Or a Tesla.
or
I've seen a lot of those recently.
yeah, or any type of vehicle that was high end. I mean, if you were driving a Mercedes in Playa 20 years ago, it's because you were from perhaps another city, and you come here and you're wealthy and you have second or third or fourth investment properties. The amount of vehicles that we see that are high end vehicles now in Playa, I mean, everything is changing. There's a lot more money coming into Playa, and that's creating a lot of opportunity. So you're right in a sense that the reason why Playa tends to attract a lot more of the expat that wants to live here or spend a lot more time here throughout the year is because Playa's infrastructure. Playa's been growing since 2005 and 6, so it's had some time to really establish itself. There's a lot more infrastructure. There's a lot more to offer, and the walkability. You can't beat the walkability. I've never lived in a place where I could literally walk outside my door, and I can walk down Fifth Avenue and have access to everything. You can walk to the grocery store. Everything is within a few blocks. So I think that's why Playa tends to attract that type of crowd.
And that might change several years down the road as Tulum gets the infrastructure as well.
Oh yeah, there's a new supermarket going into Tulum. There's the first cinemas going into Tulum, the sports complex, the train, everything.
The roads are being paved, the sewage is being installed, the power lines are being installed.
Yeah, the internet will get better, cell phone signal will get better.
This is a very special time for Tulum because it still is jungle, right? You have a few beach clubs on the beach, maybe a couple of hotels. Then you have a wide swath of jungle, which is several kilometers or miles long. And then you have development. And that development just keeps getting closer and closer to the beach. And as that happens, the roads are being paved, like I said. You're getting high-speed internet, power lines, sewage. And so this is a very special time for Tulum.
It's going to take a little while.
Yeah.
It might take a couple more years. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. And I don't overpromise anything. But it is growing, and they definitely have big plans for Tulum. The airport's one of them. So I think they're expecting the airport to take anywhere between 2 to 4 million passengers a year. So that'll ease some of the concerns and the congestion at the airport in Cancun. So it's definitely growing, and it will get there. It needs time.
And how about the rental rates for short-term rentals right now in Tulum?
I think the rental rates are a little higher than Playa, actually. But the price per square meter to purchase in Tulum is lower than Playa del Carmen. So Playa del Carmen, the price per square meter is a little higher. But the average daily rate in Tulum, because it's got a lot of buzz and there's a lot of...
Still a very low supply.
And it's just a different style, so there's some spectacular projects there that people are paying a little bit of a premium to stay in Tulum. So. And let's talk about Mexico for a second. Okay. I just want to mention, there's a lot of things people don't realize about Mexico. First of all, Mexico is the third most populated country in the Americas. It's got over 129 million. In terms of their economy, it's the second largest economy in Latin America behind Brazil. Mexico's GDP was over 1.3 trillion. It's a country that's extremely rich, and if you look at their economy, they're a complex economy. And complex means that they have many industries that contribute to their GDP. They're not just limited to one or two. Now, a lot of people, when they think about Mexico, they think about tourism. That's one of the first things they think about is tourism. Yes, Mexico's got wonderful beaches on the east and west coast. But tourism is not their only industry. Another industry that people think about a lot is when they go to the grocery store, they see the avocados, they see a lot of produce that comes from Mexico. So agriculture, definitely they export a lot of fruits and vegetables. But one thing that people don't even talk about is the auto industry. In North America, they're the largest exporters of automobiles. In technology and electronics, they actually are the second largest exporter of electronics to the United States behind China. There are six in tech in the world. Oil, in previous governments, previous presidents, they've lowered the output and the production of oil. And our president now, who's controversial, all presidents are, but he's really ramped up the production of oil, and they're number 11. They're not behind Kuwait now in terms of oil production, and that's helped Mexico a lot. So if you're looking at other Latin American countries that have experienced inflation and have lost their peso has lost strength against the dollar. Mexico 5 years ago, the exchange rate was about 19.20 for dollars, so 19 pesos for $1 American. And today we're sitting at around fluctuating between 17 and 18. The dollar's actually lost strength against the peso, and while other countries are experiencing a much higher cost to import and are paying more for their imports and because of their loss of power, loss of in their currency. What's happening, for example, is in Colombia. So in Colombia, 5 years ago, it was about 2,800 pesos per $1 American. Now it's 5,000. In Chile, it was about 600 Chilean pesos for $1 American. Now it's 900 Chilean pesos for $1 American. In Mexico, peso got stronger against the dollar, and that's because we here in Mexico don't have to import oil. We can produce our own oil, and another reason why the dollar is not consuming the peso here is because we have a lot of tourism, and so all these people coming with American dollars have to exchange to pesos. So pesos are in demand. Mm-hmm. Another thing too is if we're exporting oil, and if we are exporting electronics and automobiles, and we're receiving dollars, we quickly, the government here exchanges that into pesos, and so the demand for dollars is low and the demand for pesos is high. So Mexico is extremely strong, and it will continue to grow. During COVID, which we talked about this earlier, during COVID, I think the Americans and United States realized they can't rely just on China. And so what happened is a lot of businessmen and corporations started to look for alternatives in terms of manufacturing, in terms of where they would set up their business, and a lot of them came to Mexico, and I think that's a trend that's going to continue. So Mexico is growing. It's a great place to invest. You still get a lot more for your dollar here, and what can I say? And tourism continues to grow. We have beautiful beaches here. So overall, it's a pretty safe hedge, and it's a pretty safe investment if you're not happy currently with what's going on in your country, and it's a fun lifestyle. At the end of the day, great. There's other places you might be able to invest in, but would you want to go visit them? Would you want to spend time there? So we have it all. Not only is it a great place to invest, it's also a great place to hang out and enjoy your investment. So I think that's really helping. That's really helping Mexico along. I think Mexico is going to become a superpower in the near future. It's amazing. We also talk about the medical service. Yes. Medical services. So, you can just pay for a doctor if you're not feeling well, you don't want to go to the doctor's office. You just pay for the doctor to come to your house. The nurses will come to your house. You can get all the medication delivered to your house. Oh, we have an airplane. So that's the skydiving airplane. So there's a company here, several companies there's a little airport in Playa, and they do the skydiving tours, which is pretty spectacular. If you're ever here and you like skydiving, you get the skydive over top of this beautiful ocean here. So that plane just passed by. But anyway, what we were talking about, I completely lost my thought.
Cost of living down here.
Cost of living, yeah. So, services, a mechanic, if you need a plumber, if you need a maintenance person, like you mentioned, babysitter, a doctor, vet. So Playa is extremely dog or pet friendly. Everywhere you go, there's a lot of restaurants that allow you to have your pet with you, and they have bowls, for water outside. So there's a lot of pets here, and so the vet as well is a lot cheaper. They come to your house as well, so you don't need to stress the animal out by putting them into a kennel and moving them out to the vet's office. There's a lot of good, positive things, but if you talk about the medical system as well is, and typically in Canada, if you need a prescription, you need the doctor to recommend you to go get a particular test. Here, you don't need that. You can go and get a test done in any laboratory, and you get the results the same day. So you don't have to have the results sent to your doctor and then go through your doctor to try to get your results and have them explained to you. Here, they give you your test results the same day, even an hour or two later, in your hand, and then you can go to whatever doctor you want and get 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 opinions if you'd like. So it really is, I think, a more efficient system. I like it better.
Yes. So. And what I've noticed is that the medical system here is, in my experience, I've had a better experience here than I have in Canada. It's higher end. The doctors are top of the line. A lot of them are even educated abroad.
Yes.
And compared to in the US or other countries, what you're paying for top quality service, actually Mexico for that reason is a big destination for medical tourism.
Yeah, that's a big one too. People come into town, they get certain operations done, certain treatments. There's a lot of health retreats too. And for those of you who are on the more natural side, there's a lot of people that are naturopathic doctors and herbalists and so on, and homeopathic doctors that studied in Mexico. There's a lot of that here. So, there's a lot of options. I think there's great opportunity for people who want to diversify and spend half the time here, half the time in their country, or even and spend more time here. I think, you don't have to ask me. Just walk down the street. Maybe you can walk down the street one day. We'll do a video and we just ask everybody that's on the street and see what their response is, and you'll see it's very interesting. There you go. Well, there's hospitals here that are built more for tourism, for the foreigner, and much like the resorts, they run them kind of like a hotel. So you check in, very high standards. You get a nice room, and you pay, but you get great service. And there are insurance companies here that do offer a medical insurance for Canadians and Americans that are also very reasonable. So overall, I think it's a good experience. Yeah. So, do you have any other questions? I'm here. I could be here all day. How could you not spend all day?
I think I'm going to go to the beach after this.
Are you? I got work to do. I wish. Maybe have lunch.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're sitting at home right now and you're somebody who wants to perhaps move to Playa del Carmen, or even if you're already familiar with the area, thinking about investing in the region, we're posting Luigi's contact info down below. He's a great guy to talk to. Feel free to contact him.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be making quite a few of these types of videos, not just podcast interview style like this, but actually other types of videos as well, where we're doing home tours, where we're also speaking with other expats about their experience of either buying property here or living here, investing in the area. So if you're interested in this topic at all, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
And feel free to contact me. That's what I do, and I love talking to people, and I love getting to know people, so feel free to ask me any questions you'd like. Thanks.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, let's go enjoy.